Rumors are swirling that Maurice Benard is pushing to bring his son, Joshua Benard, back to Port Charles as Adam, and the fandom is buzzing. Could this musical prodigy return to heal our screens? Welcome back to the channel. Today is a beautiful day to dive deep into the emotional heart of General Hospital. Let's break down exactly why this potential return is the best idea the show has had in years. I genuinely think we are missing the point if we look at Maurice Benard's recent social media promotions of his son Joshua and simply dismiss it as a father being proud. The way I interpret it, this is a massive, flashing neon sign pointing toward one of the most emotionally resonant, unfinished storylines currently sitting in the General Hospital vault. I feel an overwhelming sense of profound empathy every time I think back to Adam's struggle with severe anxiety and parental pressure, because to me, it proved that the show can tackle raw, grounded mental health issues without relying on mob shootouts or soapy kidnappings. Seeing Maurice promote Joshua's music on his State of Mind platform doesn't just make me smile. It makes me desperately crave Adam's return to the canvas, because I believe this specific character is exactly what Port Charles needs right now. I know a lot of people are saying that the canvas is already too crowded, or that bringing back a character who left to get psychiatric help might feel like a step backward. But I actually think the slow burn of a mental health recovery arc is exactly what is needed, because I feel like we rarely get to see the aftermath of healing on daytime television. Usually, a character has a breakdown, goes to a facility, and returns completely cured or is forgotten entirely. I think the writer's choice to leave Adam's story open-ended was brilliant, because it made me feel the reality of his situation healing is not linear. Bringing Adam back now, as a young man who has done the work, faced his demons, and found solace in his music, would be a masterclass in character development. I believe Joshua Benard has the exact soulful, quiet intensity required to pull off that nuanced performance. To really understand why I am so fiercely loyal to the idea of Adam's return, we have to look at what is currently happening with Jocelyn Jax. I feel so incredibly terrified for Jocelyn right now, knowing she is trapped in that sub-basement at Windermere with an unconscious Liesl Obrecht. The sheer trauma of being chloroformed, locked in a cell where Anna Devane was once held, and being mercilessly taunted by Pascal is going to leave deep, psychological scars. When Jocelyn finally escapes, and we know she will, because she is a survivor who is already plotting with makeshift weapons, she is not going to be the same girl. I think the writers are setting up a massive PTSD storyline for her, and here is why my take matters. Jocelyn is going to need someone who truly understands psychological torment. I feel like this is the best they could possibly write Jocelyn's recovery arc, because, in my opinion, Adam is the only person in her peer group who genuinely understands what it means to feel completely trapped inside your own mind. I love the way the lighting changed and softened in those past scenes, when Jocelyn would sit with Adam in his dorm room, gently talking him down from his severe panic attacks. There was a quiet, intimate vulnerability there that Jocelyn rarely shows with anyone else. If Adam returns just as Jocelyn is rescued, the dynamic would beautifully flip. I believe Adam could be the one to sit with Jocelyn in the dark, using the coping mechanisms he learned during his time away to help her navigate her post-captivity trauma. That kind of full-circle storytelling gives me absolute chills. Furthermore, I think we need to talk about the sheer, undeniable musical talent that Joshua Benard brings to the screen. I feel so incredibly moved whenever music is integrated organically into the show, and Adam's piano playing was a revelation. I think the writer's choice to have Adam communicate his deepest pain through the keys of a piano rather than through expositional dialogue was brilliant, because it made me feel the weight of his parental expectations without him having to say a word. Port Charles is currently drowning in the darkness of Jen Sidwell's mob war, Ross Cullum's lethal kidnappings, and the devastating loss of Sam McCall. I genuinely believe that bringing Adam back to play the piano at Bobby's or the Metro Court would provide a necessary, breathtaking contrast to the violence. Imagine this scene. The camera cuts from Sonny Corinthos, Laura Collins, and Lucas Jones aggressively interrogating Pascal in that dimly lit Corinthos coffee warehouse, straight to the warm, golden lighting of Bobby's, where Adam is sitting at the piano. I feel like the juxtaposition of Sonny's dark, violent world against the pure, healing art of his real-life son's character would be a cinematic triumph. I think it would remind the audience that while Port Charles has its monsters, it also has its artists, its healers, and its survivors. Every time I share this thought with other fans, I point to the fact that music has always been a core part of General Hospital's DNA, from the Nurses' Ball to Eddie Main. Adam represents the next generation of that musical legacy. Speaking of Sonny Corinthos, I feel like we have to address the fascinating parallel between Maurice Benard's real-life advocacy and his on-screen persona. I think Sonny is currently spiraling into a very dark place. He is holding a man hostage, plotting assassinations, and simultaneously losing his grip on his family. I feel so incredibly heartbroken watching Christina Corinthos Davis pack her bags for medical school at UCLA. Christina's departure is going to leave a massive void in Sonny's life, and in the young adult scene of Port Charles. I believe that Adam's return could perfectly fill the emotional vacuum left by Christina. While Sonny is losing a daughter to the West Coast, Maurice Benard could be gaining his real-life son back on set. I think the emotional bleed-through between the actors would elevate every single scene they share, even if Sonny and Adam only interact in passing. I know a lot of people are saying that Maurice is just using his influence to get his son a job, but I actually think that criticism completely misses the mark, because I feel like Joshua earned every single bit of his screen time. Do you remember the scene where Adam finally broke down and confessed the immense pressure his father was putting on him regarding his pre-med studies? I love the way his voice cracked on the word failure. It was so raw, so unpolished, and so incredibly real. I think Joshua brought a level of authentic teenage anxiety to the canvas that we haven't seen in years. He didn't play it like a soap opera character, he played it like a real kid, having a real crisis. The way I see it, the show desperately needs that kind of grounded realism to balance out the heightened operatic drama of the Cold Fusion Project and the Windermere hostages. Let's also consider how Adam could interact with the rest of the canvas right now. I feel so incredibly excited by the prospect of Adam sharing scenes with Trina Robinson. Trina is currently throwing all of her energy into her art showcase as a trauma response to her family's chaos, specifically Curtis's felony assault charges and the destruction of Isaiah's hand. Trina is using art to cope, and Adam uses music to cope. I think a scene where Adam plays the piano at Trina's gallery showcase would be absolute perfection. I believe the writers could weave a beautiful friendship between these two young artists, bonding over the immense pressure they both feel to hold their families together. I love the way Trina supported Spencer through his darkness, and I feel like she and Adam would have an instant, profound understanding of one another. I genuinely think we are missing the point if we don't recognize the narrative goldmine of Adam's unresolved daddy issues. We never truly saw the fallout with Adam's father after Adam sought psychiatric help. I think the writer's choice to leave that door open was a strategic move, because it allows for a future storyline where Adam has to stand up to his father as a healed, confident young man. I feel like this is the best they've written the concept of parental expectations, because it wasn't about abuse in the traditional soap opera sense. It was about the crushing weight of conditional love. If Adam returns, I want to see him firmly reject the pre-med path and proudly embrace his music. I believe that watching Adam reclaim his identity would be one of the most triumphant, emotionally satisfying arcs of the year. Furthermore, I feel so incredibly relieved by the idea of a storyline that focuses on positive mental health representation. Maurice Benard has done so much incredible work with State of Mind, breaking down stigmas and opening up conversations about bipolar disorder and anxiety. I think bringing Adam back is the ultimate synthesis of Maurice's real-life mission and his General Hospital legacy. I believe the show has a responsibility to follow through on the mental health stories they introduce. When Adam left, he was broken. The way I interpret it, bringing him back whole, functioning, and managing his anxiety through his music sends a powerful life-saving message to the audience. It gets better. You can get help, and you can come back stronger. Let's anticipate another criticism. Some fans might say that Adam doesn't have enough ties to the current canvas to justify a long-term return. I actually think his lack of deep, tangled mob ties is exactly what makes him so valuable. I feel like Port Charles desperately needs a civilian, someone who isn't tied to the Cassadines, the WSB, or the Corinthos cartel. Adam is just a kid trying to find his way. I think his presence grounds the show. When I watch Jocelyn trying to outsmart Ross Cullum, or Danny breaking into a castle, I sometimes lose the sense that these are just teenagers. I believe Adam's return would anchor the teen scene back in reality. I love the way he used to just sit in the library, stressing over exams. It made the world feel lived in and real. I feel so incredibly passionate about this because I see the potential for a truly beautiful, character-driven narrative. I think about the way the camera could pan across the Metro Court Gardens, capturing the soft evening light as Adam plays a hauntingly beautiful original song written by Joshua Benard himself. I believe that kind of scene doesn't just advance a plot, it elevates the entire medium of daytime television. It provides a moment of grace. I feel like the best they've written General Hospital is when they allow the characters to just be, to feel, to mourn, to heal, and to create. The way I see it, Maurice Benard isn't just advocating for his son, he is advocating for a specific kind of storytelling. He is pushing for vulnerability, for art, and for mental health awareness. I genuinely think the producers would be making a massive mistake if they ignore this fan response. The comments are flooding in. We need him back. He's an amazing singer. Love the storyline. I feel so incredibly validated seeing other fans recognize the genius of Adam's character. I think the writers need to strike while the iron is hot. Bring Adam back. Let him be the one to pull Jocelyn out of her PTSD darkness. Let him play the piano at Trina's showcase. Let him stand up to his father. Let him heal. In conclusion, my personal reading of this situation is entirely rooted in joy and anticipation. I believe that General Hospital is currently firing on all cylinders, with the Sidwell takedown, the Windermere hostage crisis, and the emotional departures. But I feel like the one missing ingredient is the quiet, artistic soul that Adam provided. I think Joshua Bennard has the talent, the depth, and the emotional intelligence to carry a major daytime storyline, and I will be fiercely, unapologetically loyal to his character if he returns. I feel like we are on the precipice of something truly special, and I cannot wait to see if the powers that be in Port Charles finally open the door and let the music play once again.